Okay, I've just finished up cleaning the gasket mating surfaces on this half of the crankcase, the left half of the crankcase, getting it ready for reassembly. Cleaned all this up nice, and the top also, where the cylinder assembly base gasket goes. So now I'm going to install some of the new seals that came in. Sometimes I'll see whether or not I can size the seals from an industrial seal supplier and then get them locally or have them ordered that way. But in this particular case, the OEM Honda genuine seals were so inexpensive it didn't make sense to bother trying to do that. Just to give you an idea, one of the things that's nice about this XR is a lot of the parts are turning out to be pretty inexpensive. Most expensive seal was $4.54. $5.07, $4.54 for another one, $3.85 for another one, and $2.97 for the cheapest one. This little oil screen that goes in the bottom that I'm replacing, because the one I had was filthy and also had a hole in it. That little screen is only $2.97. And I also ended up getting a brand new set of standard size piston rings for $22.33. So pretty cheap. First seal to go in is the one for the shifter lever assembly. Goes in pretty easily. I tapped in lightly with my brass mallet, and now I'm just going to use a socket of the right OD to finish driving it home. Okay, one down. Got two more to go in on this side, on this left-hand crankcase, and then the fourth seal is actually for where the Kickstarter shaft comes out the other side. I'm going to install this crank seal. This goes with the side of the seal facing outward or outboard. So that just goes right in here, and I'm going to press that in now. The seal pushes right in from the outside. This seal and the seal for the Kickstarter shaft are actually in such close size I had to go look up the part numbers again. But it's the 035005 here, which is this seal for the output shaft that the sprocket goes on. Okay, I'm getting ready to put my gears back together, inspect them, and put them back together and get ready to put it back into the crankcase. And as I had showed in earlier videos, I basically have 2 or 3 gears that are completely bad and need to be replaced. And I could reuse everything else, but as luck would have it, that cracked side case that I needed to replace or repair, I found one on eBay, and it's actually off of a 2007 XR100R, and it's the same exact part number. They haven't changed it since the 2003 XR. So I then checked, and sure enough, it turns out the gears are the same too for the transmission. So I contacted the seller and I said, look, I'm going to buy this case. Do you have any other parts? I'm looking for these 3 gears. And the guy says, well, I'll tell you what, give me an extra $20 and I'll just throw in both assemblies. So I said, okay, done. So I paid him for the case and the gears. I got the case for $40 and then the gears for another $20. And then he sent me basically everything in the transmission. He sent me both shafts, all the gears. He sent me the even shifting forks, the pin for the shifting forks, and he even sent me the rods, the threaded rods here to go into the the other half of the crankcase. So anyways, because these are out of an 07, I think that these are going to have a lot less wear on them. So I'm going to try and use as much of this stuff here as opposed to this stuff here, because some of this stuff does have some wear on it, and it's probably not enough wear to be out of limit, but as long as I've got this stuff, I might as well use it. But I want to make a comparison, make sure that I am getting the same exact thing. Well, this is interesting. I was going to go with the 2007 CRF gears and shafts, and because I just would assume that they would have less wear on them because it's an 07 versus an 03. But it just goes to show you that this '07 that these parts came out of looks like it had a rough life, because this is the '07 shaft here on the right. So I haven't taken all the gears off of it, but basically this is a side-by-side comparison, and I don't know if you can see it on the video, but there's actually some wear on the end of this shaft on my '03. It's really chewed up on the end of this '07. It's actually so bad that when you look at it on the magnification, you can actually see that the OD on this part of the shaft is significantly smaller at the end there. So I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but something really chewed that up. And maybe they ran it low on oil, or just the oil was really dirty or contaminated. Not sure what went on there, but this shaft is in worse shape on this end than this one. Also, up on this end here, the output end, right over here in this area on this shaft, the '03 shaft, is where the oil seal rides. This is basically what keeps the oil from migrating along the shaft and coming out of the crankcase and leaking behind the sprocket. On this one here, you can see a little bit of wear, but if I rub my fingernail on it, you don't feel any imperfection. It doesn't feel too bad. This one actually is quite a bit worse. This one has quite a bit more wear on it. I can actually feel a slight little dip right there where that oil seal has worn that shaft. So this appears to have had a much harder life. So I am going to use my original '03 parts, with the exception of the gears that are completely broken on the '03. I'll use the '07 gears.